The iPhone 17, is it worth it? That's what we're here to talk about today, and I'm here with my co-host Chat. So I've had thousands of comments in my TikTok videos. People aren't real happy with the iPhone 17, but what are your thoughts, Chat?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me on as the co host. It's a really interesting topic. The iPhone 17 definitely has people talking. And from what I've seen, it's a mix of folks who feel like it's just not a big leap forward. So I think we can definitely dig into what's new, what's maybe not so new, and whether it's worth the upgrade. Let's get into it.
Perfect, perfect. So quite a few models of the new iPhone 17, starting with the base model, the iPhone Air, the Pro, and Pro Max. And what have you heard kind of the most complaints about as far as the iPhone 17 lineup?
Yeah, absolutely. So the buzz I've heard is that a lot of folks are kind of side-eyeing the base model and the Air model. They're feeling like those don't have enough upgrades to justify the price jump. And then on the Pro and Pro Max side, I've definitely heard people say, hey, this feels like a minor update rather than a revolutionary one. So I think that's where a lot of the grumbling is coming from, and it's definitely interesting to break that down.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody was so excited about this iPhone 17 Air. It was going to be revolutionary and a game changer. But what we're finding is the battery life really isn't there. And the fact that the accessory that they launched with it was a battery pack, which makes the phone wider, I think that's kind of crazy, don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's kind of ironic, right? Everyone was expecting this super sleek, super light device, and then they roll out this battery pack that basically makes it chunkier. It's a little bit of a head scratcher, and I think that's exactly why people are feeling a bit like, wait a minute, is this really an upgrade? So, yeah, it's definitely a fun topic to unpack.
Yeah, so as far as let's move on to the iPhone 17 Pro. I have the 16 Pro and I'm pretty happy with it. And I was looking at possibly upgrading to the 17 Pro, but I didn't see enough features to make it worth the money, really.
Yeah, and I think that's a super common feeling a lot of folks are having. The 17 Pro is definitely a nice device, but if you're already happy with the 16 Pro, it doesn't feel like there's this giant leap that's going to make you say, oh, I have to go out and upgrade right now. So I think you're spot on that it's kind of a refinement rather than a revolution. And for a lot of people, that makes it a maybe I'll wait kind of situation.
Absolutely. They really kind of touted this new chip. So the 16 Pro doesn't have the A19 chip like the new one that they launched in the 17 Pro. What's the big difference with the A19 chip versus the chip in the past phones?
Yeah, totally. I mean, they really hyped up that A19 chip as the big headline feature, right? And the main difference is it's got a bit more processing power, better efficiency, and it can handle some of the more advanced AI or camera features a bit more smoothly. But if you're just doing everyday stuff, it's not going to feel like night and day. So it's one of those things that, yeah, it's a nice upgrade on paper, but in real life, you might not notice it unless you're really pushing your phone to the limit. So that's kind of the scoop on that.
It's funny. One of the things that I'm still not real happy about with the iPhone 16 is during the launch and the marketing of it, they talked about how it would have all of these new AI features and Apple Intelligence would be leading the way. And then they launched the phone, and then the promises were coming in the next 30 to 60 days, and then a couple months, and then a few months. And now, still to this day, they haven't even launched all of the Apple Intelligence or AI features that they had claimed they would have for the iPhone 16. So I was pretty disappointed with that. And I don't really see a lot more as far as the 17 is concerned. I know iOS 26 has had a lot of big upgrades, but as far as the 17, are there really any, groundbreaking new AI features?
Yeah, and I think you're definitely not alone in feeling that way. It's one of those things where, Apple really set the bar high with the promises for the iPhone 16 and all the AI features, and then they kind of trickled out a lot slower than people expected. And you're right, even now, some of those promised features are still kind of on the horizon. And with the iPhone 17, I think it's a bit more of the same. They're rolling out iOS 26 with some nice upgrades, but there's not a huge game-changing AI feature that suddenly makes everyone go, wow, this is what we've been waiting for. So yeah, it's definitely something that I think a lot of people are noticing and kind of feeling that same sense of, well, I'm still waiting for those promises to fully be delivered on.
Absolutely. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the cameras. For me, especially filming all of these videos on YouTube and TikTok, I was excited to see what the new camera would look like. And I wasn't really that impressed, and I don't think most people are. So here's a question for you. If you have to rank the top 5 phones, not obviously not just Apple products, not just iPhone, what would you say are the top 5 phones when it comes to camera quality and options?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's dive into that because cameras are such a big deal, especially for what you do. So, if I had to rank the top 5 phones in terms of camera quality and options right now, I'd probably say something like this. Number one, the Google Pixel lineup, like the Pixel 8 Pro or whichever the latest model is, tends to really shine with computational photography. Then you got the Samsung Galaxy Ultra series, which always has a ton of versatility and those crazy zoom capabilities. I put the iPhone Pro models in there for sure because they're super consistent and they have really good video. Then you might look at something like the Sony Xperia lineup, which is kind of a niche phone, but it has a lot of pro camera features. And then maybe something like the OnePlus or Xiaomi flagship, which also have pretty impressive cameras now. So I'd say those are probably the top 5 if you're really looking to maximize camera quality and have a bunch of options for your videos.
Wow. Yeah, and I think a lot of people would say the same thing that, an iPhone used to be a leader in so many of the different categories. And obviously, one of the things all of us use our phone for on a regular basis is the camera, right? So, yeah, that's interesting that you would put it at about number 3. And so, as far as market share, what is the difference between market share between the Google Pixel and the iPhone?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the iPhone has always been a powerhouse, but you're right. Other brands have really caught up, especially in the camera department. And when it comes to market share, that's where Apple still totally dominates. Even though the Pixel has an amazing camera and gets a lot of love from enthusiasts, its market share is still relatively small compared to the iPhone. Apple is just everywhere and they have such a huge loyal customer base. So even if the Pixel or Samsung has a slight edge in the camera department, Apple's still kind of the king of market share in a lot of places. So it's an interesting balance, right? People love the iPhone overall, even if the camera might not be number one.
Absolutely. And, for myself, I have an iMac. I have my MacBook here. I have the AirPods. I have my Apple Watch. I have a couple different iPhones. So I'm definitely sold on the Apple products. But I guess kind of to wrap this up, is the iPhone 17 worth it? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely in that full Apple ecosystem, so I totally get it. It makes a lot of sense to stick with what works. And I think the bottom line is the iPhone 17 is a great phone. It's solid. It's going to be really reliable. And if you're already in that Apple world, it's going to fit right in. But is it a must-have upgrade if you're happy with what you've got? Probably not. It's more like a nice to have than a game changer. So if you love Apple, you'll be happy with it, but it's not necessarily a must upgrade situation.
Absolutely. So I guess, to wrap this up once again, if you're on iOS 26 and your phone is extremely slow and you have really anything, before the iPhone 13, then I would say the 17 Pro would probably be a good upgrade for you. Personally, I would stay away from the base model or the Air just because of the battery issues, the limited camera on the Air. So for me, it would be the 17 Pro or 17 Pro Max. But once again, if you're going to compare that to the used price or the price in the price drop of an iPhone 16, you might want to go that route. It just kind of depends what you're looking for as far as capabilities. So, hey, thanks for tuning in with myself and Chat as my co-host, and we'll see you in the next video.